Our Walk, written and illustrated by Marissa Hill. Do you remember our walk that fall, when the leaves had all turned and burned in the afternoon light? We began holding hands, silent except for the crunch of fallen leaves, new and years old. We walked through forests and swamps that had only begun to grow, since the farms that had once emptied the land had fallen away, leaving the land to begin anew. The quest was for the old oak, middle-aged when the land was cleared for farming so long ago. Her branches could be seen from far away, rising and clawing for the sky, higher than any that dared to challenge her authority. We walked through fields abandoned to the cold fall winds, past posted signs. Following trails older than our parents, we climbed down a hill buried in decades of fallen leaves. As we descended, the clink of glass on glass chimed in the air. We looked at one another, slightly worried for exposed hands, but curious beyond concern. Digging through the layers, we found hundreds of bottles, cups, jars, and canisters, some broken, others still whole and useful, from the days when our grandparents were children and kept everything with any possible future use. Cobalt, emerald, and ivory glittered in the fading light, peeking at us, calling our attention. We began a collection, holding tight to those we thought worth saving, admiring the durability of glass, and planned their future purposes. Our quest for the old oak had opened us to that world of decades and centuries past. Crossing dried muck fields and ditches, through chest-high weeds and grasses, following more trails older than anyone still living, we came upon a stone wall. It was hand-built when the land was newly cleared, the oak too large to uproot. The remnant crumbled by our side as we walked along it. If untouched, the stones would remain, slowly withering with the weight of too much time and too many memories. We came to an opening in the squirrel forest, where the oak's trunk could be seen through the screen of younger trees, nearly yearlings in comparison, many small children of this ancient mother. She stood, her bark different from the rest, as if calling to us, the few and far between of this time, that still understood and appreciate the wise and knowing natural world. Her base was wider than your full-size pickup truck is tall. Her arm closest to the ground was still higher than the roof of your family's 19th century farmhouse, even with its 2 stories of 10-foot ceilings. We walked around her girth, caressing her undulating and cracking skin, looking high above, hoping to see the top, though it was hidden in the autumnal flames. I stepped closer to her and hugged as much of her as I could, whispering to her, knowing it had been a long time since she had felt the warm touch of a human heart. The stillness of that moment settled around us as the steady wind died, silencing the rattle of the oak's leaves so far above. You looked at me and then touched her bark with a careful hand. I knew you understood my reverence to the old oak, but can never take the flying leap to becoming a literal tree hugger. The same hand you touched the oak would reach for me. I took it, letting you pull me close to you gently. We leaned into one of the natural troughs in the oak's side, letting her cradle us as a giant mother would, her ancient warmth relaxing around us in the expanse of decade-young trees that surrounded this quiet queen. We walked back to your home, following a slightly different trail, still ancient by our youthful standards. This time we broke the silence with words, with discussion on how old, how regal, and how amazing the oak was. We tried to find words for the experience, for the quiet contemplation. We attempted to define her age, her history, to understand this primeval creature through cold facts. But no human construction could describe the stillness that enveloped my soul as we stood by her side. How could I describe this to one that did not know that the lives of humankind cannot compare to the resilience of untampered nature?